Where to start? Well, how about we start with power. Power is where we're going to start here. So inside here, I got a 40 amp hour lithium ion battery. That's my charge controller for my solar panel, so that all my accessories and things like that run off of the solar panel. If I got it plugged into here, when I'm in dock, I plug it into there and it actually charges the battery and keeps it maintained. This gives direct power to my trolling motor back there from the battery. Everything else that comes through here is regulated at a certain voltage, and that's what runs all my accessories. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the trolling motor engaged because I'm gonna get back there to it in a little bit. But that's how I've got that all set up. Now, little accessories that I've got for electric. I got a little setup here. It's got two little USB ports. Turn that on. Gives me a little light that I've got on this one for different times. That I actually broke, so I ended up putting another one in there. It's not necessary, of course, but I have that to run my fan. It's actually an oscillating fan, so it will turn itself. And that's just fantastic for keeping the mosquitoes off. It's got two different speeds. You'll notice that it's mounted actually to this is aluminum. It's the angle aluminum. And I took it in where the handles are on the side here. I actually used those screw holes and put this in there. Since they're already molded in, it holds really nice. But I've got it in two different pieces over here, and then I've got one solid one over there, and of course I can swap them out. Everything is put on here with thumb screws. So you'll see there's thumb screws here, there's thumb screws down there. This is even held on with the thumb screw down here, so I can always undo it and move it to wherever I want. I can put this to the back, I can move the fan over here, I can put the drink holder over here, move things around, switch them and swap them however I want. This is something that I printed off. I did a 3D print job of it. It's set up so you can put magnets in the bottom of it. It does have some drainage, so if water gets in there, it'll come out. But I like it because I can put something in there, cover it up, and I don't have to worry about it falling overboard or something like that. Anything. It's not really a dry box, but it comes in handy for different things. And if I do throw a magnet in the bottom, it'll be able to keep hooks and things, and it'll keep them down inside and in place. Another thing, I've got my two adjustments here, so I can put either two rod holders, or I've got this for my anchor. Sometimes I'll use this depending on what I want, and I can move the anchor over to there or whichever direction I want. I like it because it's one of those easy things, so you can pull it and it keeps it from going back down. It just adjusts it right there and I can pull it up. It's pretty easy. All right, my chair. What do I have on my chair? These are things that are all attached to the chair, so if I take it out, they come with me. I've got my, reaching down there and grabbing things. I put a bolt in there so that it kind of holds it in place, and if I twist it, it hooks behind that so it doesn't bounce around. I've got my pliers in there. I've got trimmers and clippers. I've got holders that sit inside here. I've got my fish finder. This is actually a giant magnet here, so if I need to attach something, I can just stick it on there. And this is handy because I can actually rotate it down, slide it up. I have to loosen it, but then it kind of goes completely out of the way and I don't need it at all. The fish finder I've got actually disconnects right here. And you'll see I've got it going down here, and that's where I've got my, there it is. That's where I've got my transducer going through a scupper hole. It's high enough up there that it won't drag on anything or move around. But that's kind of my chair. I've also got a little scope here in case I need it. That's actually attached to my crate. Or on the crate here, you'll see I've 3D printed this off, and it just allows that to sit in there just right. And I've got this set up through a clothesline, so you let it out and it pulls it back in. And I've got that attached to my crate. Yes, I am working on putting a lid on my crate, so I expect to see somebody give me a hard time about that if I flip or something like that. I don't want everything going in. But that makes it so much nicer rather than ending up with a whole bunch of line inside your boat. And it works out just right. I actually have my seat come back and clip in my crate, so it's kind of all in one. Instead of hooking these other places, they hook out great. I just put them down around the bolts on these. I can clip them in, clip them out. So the goodies, the way I've got my trolling motor set up, I just took the top of it off of the back, took the top of it off, and I actually took a scupper plug, and you drill a hole through it and run your PVC through there, and then it sticks down in place just right. I've got my wires down here. They're set so I can disconnect them, so I get that little tie-in, so if they drop down there. And then also, if I do disconnect it and, I'm not running my motor, I've got, let me pull it up. I've got another scupper plug here that I put the cables down in there and just cap it off, because it does pass all the way through and I don't want water going down in there. But it works pretty darn good. And of course, you can in reverse. Actually, that's forward. Pretty neat toy though. Back here, the way I set this up, I'll go ahead and pull these off of here so I can get a little more detail. In order to put the electronics in and get my wiring going, I had to put a bay back here, a way to open it up. So I've got that hatch and it opens up, and that's where I've got all my wires going down. They're shrink wrapped all the way, but I got some of this extra black tubing, so I went ahead and slid it down over it. They're set up so that I plug them in, hot swap them so I can unplug them and just disconnect it from the transom. The transom I built, this is out of aluminum, angle aluminum. And then I've got a cutting board. Cut a piece here, and then I got another piece that's up inside. Bolts go all the way through and kind of crimp the whole thing together so it's not putting too much stress just on the top lip there. It's actually got quite a bit of meat underneath there to grab hold of. Then it runs up, got that sealed and hooked in there. There's another piece of that cutting board I put on there to give me a little bit of extra steering ability. This is set up there and it goes down alongside me so I can actually pull it. So I can do this with one hand, pull it, and it raises the motor up. So it brings it up out of the water. I got a spot up there that I can clip it onto the chair. So how does the steering work on this? You can see I've got this actually attached going through here. This is a bicycle cable. Bicycle brake cable cover, so it makes the cable slide nice through, makes it so it's not rubbing up against anything because that goes all the way through. It's not putting any drag on this because that's hooked in with a rivet. I'll put some extra silicone on there, but that's how this is held, so it's only moving here. It's not, making any contact with anything throughout the boat. Now inside here, I can show you better on this side. That's the rivet that goes through here, and then I've got the bike cable there, or the cable, and see how smooth that is? I mean, it really just makes it so really easy and smooth. You get quite a bit of play on it. One thing that I did do, these pedals are stock. I just had to take the back piece out, and I did put a bolt through there. There's a plastic piece, but I put a bolt just because I think it's going to give it a little bit more strength. But I left this in place because sometimes I don't want to be running with the kayak or with the trolling motor. So these are the locks that tell how far down the pedal can go. I put this loop on the end after I measured it the way I want it. I can hook it right around there, and that stops my foot from going forward. So if I want to switch to paddling instead of the trolling motor, I can pull the rope, pull the trolling motor out, lock my pedals, and I still got something to push against while I'm actually paddling. Another thing about the way I have this set up, you might notice I got some industrial Velcro on the inside here, so that keeps this up off the ground. So anytime I want to change out or add wiring or change wiring, I can just pull it up and out. I ain't got to work inside there. And with the Velcro on each side, just stick it in place and it's not going anywhere. So the way I've got my anchor set up here, I've actually got, this is a 3D print, printed that so it fits inside there okay. I don't do it, I mean, I've seen a lot of different ways, they put a zip tie down here. I actually got a zip tie on the end of it, but then I got this cheap carabiner, and it'll bend. So if I really get stuck, I can pull this and it will actually bend this, and then I'm not breaking that and leaving plastic in the water or anything like that. Leave only footprints. But this is set up so that I can actually detach it from the back here. I can just unclip it from there. Hard to do with one hand. And then with this, I can slip it off of here. Then I can run it down and through this easy enough. So I've got the option to use this, or I can just drop it in the water and use my cleat on the side. So that is my kayak and my setup for 2022 here. Cannot wait to get it out there and test that trolling motor. If you have any questions about anything, any more details you want to see about something, definitely let me know. That whole like, subscribe thing, or whatever the heck they call it. But, you know, I'm just looking forward to getting out on the water, you guys. I'm sure you are too. Thanks for watching.